Hello, I am Jody Wolf. You're watching EXPOZ on April 28, 2011, and it's about 10 minutes to midnight in Birmingham, Alabama. Today's topic, tornadoes ravage Alabama. And I say this because April the 25th, 2011, I made a blog. And 2 days after the blog, I mentioned twice in the blog, once in the beginning, and I punctuated the statement as a stern warning, and then once at the end of that blog. And once again, I brought up the same, that the natural disasters would start almost immediately. And again, this is on the 25th. Today is the 28th. On the 27th, which was Wednesday, a.m., Birmingham, Alabama, we had the first outbreak of tornadoes that would end the day with excess of perhaps 300 tornadoes to ravage Alabama. The damage is extremely extensive, and there were at all times between a 4 and a 6 hour period a minimum of 7 tornadoes on the ground at one time. This has never happened in the history of Alabama. I believe when they finish counting up the numbers of the tornadoes, I believe it will be a national record. They're still counting the people that died, and it's going to exceed 300. This doesn't sound like a big number in the wake of a natural disaster, but it's a very big number when you come to a tornado. And homes, between the hundreds and if not thousands of homes and businesses were destroyed. And structures that were, concrete block built, and then outside the block, they're brick and have been standing for 100 years, exploded like dynamite from the inside out. And this happened in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. The tornado started, one of the main ones, the big one started, and it was 1.5 miles at the base, outside or just inside the Mississippi line near I-20. Crossed into Alabama, and when it exited Alabama, it had never left the ground. It traveled 325 miles, exited Alabama into Rome, Georgia, and Rome, Georgia is at the base of part of the Appalachian Mountains, and at this point, it was probably the mountains that lifted it up. We've never had one to stay on the ground that long. I believe that's going to be a record breaker. The amount of lives lost, that too will be a record breaker. Again, I made a blog, and on the blog I mentioned specifically natural disasters will be on a sharp increase. And this is the third prophecy or dream or vision that I've posted in 30 days that's come to pass. And so my sources are giving me good information. I drove from Birmingham, Alabama, which is almost a little bit north center of the state, and I drove north to a town, Decatur, this morning. When I left Birmingham, 12 miles from my home in North Birmingham, the power was out. I drove 100 miles to Decatur. Every exit every convenience store, every truck stop did not have power. When I left Decatur to come back to Birmingham, we were passing everything from cars to trucks to even motorcycles on the side of the road that has simply run out of fuel. And they're still trying to clear those up today. As of right now, only part of that 100-mile section has power. And this has never happened, not in this state. The 150-foot tall light poles that you see around some cities, and around the light pole there's 6 or 8 extremely light halo type lights, or metal halide lights. These poles are broken like little twigs all over the interstates. I crossed the path after a tornado 9 times from Birmingham to Decatur, Alabama. 9 times. And there was 5 of them could go either way. I think they were smaller tornadoes, but in any case, there were damage. And my daughter is a full-blown advanced life support paramedic and also an FTO with this company in Birmingham. They normally run 8 trucks in a night. They had 100 trucks last night. And they had 100 trucks all day, plus other services that we don't count, or that she doesn't count. And plus every other emergency vehicle that could get out there. Now, let me tell you about the 3 events I had mentioned that came true in the last 30 days. And one was, again, from my daughter. She saw Asian patrolling a beach. This is off the beach in a boat. She saw an Asian walking down the beach. Asians in dark uniforms with red patches. And she also saw emergency vehicles parked every so far. You saw this scene in Japan in a special they had several times in the last few days. The very scene. It's in my blog, stated exactly as you saw it on TV, but I put it in the blog 30 days ago. 30 days or several days before that happened. The next was prophecy in the news mentioned martial law, which would start coming last night within 1 hour of the tornado hitting Tuscaloosa, Alabama. The mayor called for a stern curfew. This is a mild form of martial law. I can't say that I don't blame him. I don't. And I would have done the same thing, because there are people out there already looting. So I think he was justified 100% in doing this. But at the same time, this is how martial law starts, and it will get easier and easier for them to call martial law. And the third was, again, my blog on the 25th. I said it in the 5-minute or 6-minute blog that natural disaster would be on a sharp increase, and they'd be starting right away. And 1 day later, to my surprise, it happened. And I stated that twice in that blog. You can go back 3 blogs from where I am now and see it, or 4 from this one. People, get ready. We are definitely in the days that the Bible talks of. Be ready. More is coming. Jody Wolf, EXPOZ.